Imagine you're at the dinner table when you're young, say 7 or 8 years old. You bring up an idea you think is fascinating and nobody responds. Someone else says the same thing a few minutes later and everybody's delighted by it. They jump on it with both hands and both feet. How do you feel? Angry? Sad? Dejected? Wilhelm Reich tells us there are 5 primary responses when we're under stress or when things aren't going the direction that we want them to. We either push back on those who offended us, want to leave and get out of there, appease and make nice, go rigid, control everything and figure it out, dig in and endure. Which one is your primary style of coping when you're dissatisfied or frustrated? Did you recognize yourself? See, I believe these responses, while mostly normal, can be the greatest source of waste of our precious resources in organizations, in human interactions. I work with leaders who often affect millions. You see, I believe we have a pandemic, just not the kind we thought we did. This is about each one of us not understanding the true power that we have to wield on behalf of the greater good. Right now, right here in the room we're in. We can only do this by realizing that our bodies hold a wisdom our minds cannot fathom. Did you know that the cognitive brain can process 40 neural impulses per second? Which is really interesting and great until you understand that the body brain can process 40 million. See, when we choose automatic responses like the 5 that I mentioned, we immediately lose contact with our essence, with our wisdom, our ability to move beyond our everyday normal and our automatic responses. We set off down old emotional pathways, and instead we could take this moment to turn some of life's hardest stuff of every day into golden opportunities. That's what I call no bullshit. Noble shit. To take the simple but not easy noble acts that could uplevel the quality of our conversation that we're in right now, and to stay in the moment. Yes, this one, and allow the strength of the emotion to literally wave through our body. To listen to the information being provided by our senses, to be willing to take the noble act to move us closer to authentic connection and clearer thinking and unexpected resolutions. The key is to ask ourselves, what do I need? And I don't know about you, but until now, pretty recently, that's been off limits. And instead of honoring the beauty of my own need, I would find myself deflecting and saying, hey, don't you think you should? So what do I need? So as a young one, I was intensely shy, phobic, highly disciplined. I scored in the top 1% for intelligence in my age group. I was a state champion swimmer. Meanwhile, I had an older brother who didn't want me around and regularly placed me in harm's way, exposed me to porn and horny friends and drugs, and physically suffocated me to my second to last breath. I watched my family become irretrievably fractured when Dad's work required us to move every year. And Mom, who was my only anchor, fell in love with a difficult woman who also didn't want me around and competed with me for the next 44 years. They moved 3,000 miles away, and by that time, Dad was in a different country every day. And I was at age 12, left under the care of a governess who knew nothing about children. Consequently, I suffered from a level of change fatigue and culture shock that led me to sell out on my true self in favor of belonging and survival. My journey took me from genius to derelict, from wealthy to on welfare, from athlete to addict. We all have the power to do the noble work of shifting frustration and anger and disassociation into stewardship, moment to moment, on behalf of the greater good. That's noble shit. No bullshit, noble shit. A remarkable woman I work with is a scientist tackling rare diseases. And when she's frustrated in a meeting, so she would feel this dragon emerging through her body and over her head. And that has fueled an offensive stance for her for years. She would then begin fighting and threatening and belittling her colleagues. The same thing she felt she had to do among her siblings at dinner to establish her position all those years ago. During our work together, we discovered that she loves complex, contradictory medical data, but snarly people problems made her crazy. So, however, my organic 3-step process, get up to it, get into it, get on with it, became her battle cry. And before we knew it, she exclaimed, "Oh my, people are my new data." So the dragon may still make its appearance, you see, but now she befriends it and redirects the power and energy as she's feeling in her body toward the greater good. She gets curious, forgiving, allowing herself to sit with the tension and give herself and others a new permission to be more fully themselves. She now seeks to connect instead of protect, and to contribute and raise up her colleagues and mentees instead of creating needless destruction. That's noble shit. See, it's a hero's journey unique to each of us. When we feel dismissed, accused, unfairly treated, it may seem unbearable at the moment, but it is the worthwhile journey to reconnect with ourselves, with each other, with the mission at hand. The world needs us to reclaim our nobility now and now and now, turning that venom into nectar. You can do it. And let's call it out when we see others do it. Hey, that's noble shit, man. That's noble shit. Now, think of that moment again at the dinner table, or something more recently where you were excluded, didn't get the response you thought you deserved. Can you feel yourself wanting to fight, to run, to overplease, to bear with it? Can you feel your heart rate go up, or do you go numb? Whatever it is, it's okay. Like Rumi's poem, The Guest House, welcome the unexpected visitor and entertain them all. So remember, next time you feel overwhelmed by an injustice and need to get yourself out of the proverbial paper bag, or what my friend Neil Rogan calls our prisonality, then instead of pushing back or wanting to leave, appeasing or going rigid or digging in, let's take these 3 steps. Do it with me. Get up to it. Get into it. Get on with it. Be noble. Now, leave the situation better than you found it. That's no bullshit. That's noble shit. Thank you.